Hello, everybody. Good morning. So my name is Adithya, like she rightly mentioned so. So I work for Performics India, and we are basically a high-performance agency who is, our main goal is usually to match the high-profile KPIs for clients across the sectors. And yeah, looking forward to this topic. Brian?
So I'm Brian. I spoke yesterday, so I already introduced myself. But long short, my company also works for some metaverse agency and also like some other corporate doing Web3 projects. We discussed a lot about this panel, so we put together some questions that might interest marketers and communication professionals. Both of us are not into blockchain technology, but we use blockchain technology to do our work in marketing and PR. So maybe let's first start with how are Web3 technology being used today in APAC region, especially in India?
So basically now, just before this particular topic, Brian actually mentioned about the online reputation on various experiences, right? So similarly, even in the APAC region, especially India, one of the few most important things that actually people look for is going for a seamless, personalized experience that they want across the web, right? Now, for example, let's say I work for a brand for, let's say, Economic Times, right? So now, if I introduce a new project, if I want to introduce, talk something about, the Web 3.0 or let's say blockchain or NFTs. So my main focus is actually going to be to provide something that's more personalized with the users or the consumers who are going for it, and not to exactly what blockchain is on a generic basis. So this is something that actually at least the APAC region is something that they are focusing upon. Few certain things that actually, I wouldn't go about, especially in the Web 3.0 keywords that they use on the SEO terms. Let's say, we go for geo-targeting, right? Let's say we go about with various Google signals about how exactly we can use this upon the social media and so on. So this is going to be more of a seamless technology that, we have to pursue further.
And I think speaking of APAC region, because both of us are from Asia, so I think that Web3 is still a very new frontier, and then the geographical distinction is not that different at the moment. But then we need to sort of revisit what exactly Web 3.0 really means. Because when we talk about Web 1.0, it's more about HTML, read-only, and we also talk about Web 2.0, which is determined by social media, the interactive nature, user-generated content. But the Web 3 is all about powered by blockchain technology, meaning that it is decentralized. Because if you post something on Facebook, and Facebook has the right to remove your content, but on everything on Web3, it's co-owned by a chain of different platforms. So you basically cannot remove it. It's more like a drive. You can only add content, but cannot remove it. So that makes actually marketer become more powerful in a way that when you develop a product, your product won't be controlled just by the platform itself. And I think from a PR point of view, so there are two new technology in Web3 that might work very well. So the first one is the NFT. Because NFT is basically a validation system that you can verify that you are the owner of your digital product. Because when you look at the NFT art, it's just maybe just a visual or maybe just short video, whatever. And then what is so special about the NFT? What makes it special is that you can validate that the product, the digital product you own, is truly owned by you. And that make a lot of difference, the authenticity, and no one can copy what you do. And also the other thing is that it's also help the supply chain of selling the NFT much more easier, because when you resell the NFT, the content creator will also get a commission out of that. So it is a very important change when it comes to doing communication or marketing campaign. And the other technology I would say is the metaverse. Metaverse, of course, that we all know about Sandbox, but there are many other platforms on metaverse. So metaverse basically is just a new platform that is a total virtual world. So imagine nowadays we're thinking about physical aspect, in-person event like this, or virtual event on Facebook, on social media, but in Web3, everything all come together. With a headset or without a headset, you can interact with other users. You having your own identity. It doesn't have to be your name. It doesn't have to be your face. It could be any from your avatar or anything enormous as well. So it's also a new frontier for marketers to engage their audience, I would say. So what about SEO? Because you are an expert in SEO. So is SEO like doing anything with referee?
So now, see, as the overall, so since the past couple of years, especially after the COVID, if you see, there's a huge incline in the internet phase, right? Where exactly people are getting digitalized day by day. In each and every sector, you find things that are actually growing in the digital era, that is in the internet, right? So now, if you have a look at this, Web 3.0 actually uses platforms like, FB, the Facebook, Twitter. And so here, such platforms, you can actually create a lot of community tactics with the users. Now, for example, let's say I actually want to, let's say I am a company that's actually selling cryptos, right, or NFTs, for example. So now what I'll be doing is I actually can start participating on various forums, let's say, or on various social media groups. I can try to reach out to people there. I can have a lot of questions. So why is this important, you might ask? Especially because now what people or brands focus upon is just to build a website. But then they don't try to communicate with the consumers or try to understand their pain points. So now you try to understand their pain points, you actually, honestly, you come to know where exactly you are lacking or where exactly your strength lies upon for you to focus upon things further. So once you start focusing upon things further, you can actually, you can easily drive conversions. So you're basically going to get, more traffic upon your website. More traffic is equal to leads, conversions eventually. So this is something that's extremely important that I personally feel, well, brands need to focus on. So for few quorums, for example, I might say, let's say you can even go for the basic quorums like Quora or let's say Medium, where you can actually engage with various consumers on this topic. So once you engage with consumers, you actually try to understand what they want. So once you understand the wants or the needs of the consumers, you can directly, start upselling your products and start, like you previously mentioned, with various PR activities or let's say with various activities that you want to build upon your website on. That's something that can be done eventually.
Yep. And I think a lot of companies are still very skeptical about Web 3.0 and whether we should do it or not. But then at the very beginning, when Facebook was launched, people were skeptical as well. So I think as marketer and communication professionals should be open-minded about it. So there are certain benefits that I have seen for communicators or marketers to incorporate referee technology into their campaign. So the first thing, as he just previously mentioned about the content delivery, because with referee, it's actually changing how we consume content. Because in Web 2.0 on social media, video are hot. We like visual, GIF, and all this kind of thing. But it's still like a reading habit, watching. It is like how people consume the content. But on referee, actually, you're part of that world. You're part of the virtual world. You can experience the virtual world directly. So it's also changed how marketer to architect your content journey of your audience. It's more about experience. And the other thing is about incorporating NFT into the PR campaign because people want something unique. Your customer always demands something unique, tailor-made to them. So these are the way I see referees changing communication and marketing. So how do cryptocurrency play a role in your marketing campaign?
So we worked for one such project in the year 2022. So one thing that we noticed is that the demand for cryptocurrencies, of course, was steeply increasing from since the time of the COVID till especially after the Dogecoin incidents of across the market. So it kept increasing day by day. But then after one point, when we actually saw the trends, the cryptocurrency, right from the incline increase, it became stagnant. So one thing we understood is that majority of the companies, they started actually going for the cryptocurrencies, but then they were just, they started selling their own cryptocurrencies in different aspects of the on the web. So what people were actually lacking is they did not, the overall marketing of cryptocurrencies across the web was mostly in terms of the brands, branded names, the branded keywords that people use. But then there are a lot of non-branded keywords as well, wherein actually people start to, they leave it behind. And what happens is that the competition for such branded keywords keep increasing day by day. And to rank on the overall Google SERP, it keeps, I mean, it seemed that it was almost impossible to rank on on the first page, sorry. It seemed almost impossible to rank on the first page. So there, what we try to do is that we try to use a lot of link building activities and a lot of other backlink profiles with actually, so what we actually did is we try to incorporate a lot of email marketing strategies here as well. So what we try to understand is that once we get a lead on people coming to the website, so what we try to do is that we try to analyze the overall user's portfolio. There is an LTV, we call it across, the lifetime value of the user. So we try to analyze that. We try to overall go for the email marketing strategies, and there we try to pitch in various, let's say, various, conversion strategies, so as to, for the users to overall buy the overall cryptos and increase the conversions. So when we started to, imbibe these strategies across our various domains, actually our sales went pretty high, and we saw that, while there are other large brands, I mean, I don't want to take certain names, but then there are a lot of large brands who actually, they always rank on the SERP, but then even brands who are not ranking the first three, in the first three engines, what you can actually do is that you can actually start various link building, or at the same time to increase your domain authority by actually even going for some strategies like email marketing, or let's say I previously mentioned about going for various forums and communicating with the consumers to actually talk about your brand and actually sell your brand indirectly. So that actually seems pretty interesting where we actually started to approach.
Yep, and I'm also using some examples that how we leverage NFT and also metaverse into my campaign. So one of our clients is actually like a metaverse agency invested by Sandbox, and then they do a project called Meta Green. So this is actually how metaverse is trying to sort of operate in a way that they want people to use their platform. So meaning that the entrance level at the moment is quite low. So basically Meta Green project is like a land in the metaverse world, and then we facilitate partnership between corporates and Sandbox by having their own presence. For example, like a major bank in Hong Kong, they have a building in the metaverse land telling people, teaching people about ESG initiative. And then we also facilitate another partnership between a Singaporean bank with that platform that to showcase a gallery of the bank has collected. And also with some other companies showcasing their product and so on. So the beauty of Metaverse is that you can incorporate gaming, education, and branding experience all in one Metaverse land. And the other thing is we also do something like offline. So for example, an exhibition we did for a real estate developer in Hong Kong 2 weeks ago. And then people, they look at the art pieces, but they can also take a photo of themselves with the art pieces and turn it into NFT and resell it in the open sea. Because with crypto nowadays, it's people always look at its investment value, and you never know. Now maybe it just costs it's just maybe very, very tiny, but then people will still think that it might go up at some point. So the exhibition was so full in a way, people want to check out the exhibition, not just for the artwork, but also NFT. So NFT is a very good additional component to attract the audience.
You said that basically you go ahead with various exhibitions for NFTs. So could you tell me the approach behind this? What exactly was the outcome, and how exactly the thought process behind this?
Yeah, so when we sort of measure the outcome, is that it's not just about how many people they claim the NFT. Of course, that will be one of the performance metrics. And the other metric is actually how the referee technology help you to meet other KPI. For example, number of visitors to the exhibition, number of people who talk about your campaign. Because audience nowadays are getting increasingly demanding on what they see, what they experience, and what they get. And so what do you think about the benefit of using referee in inbound marketing then?
So one major myth that I'll talk about inbound marketing is that people usually think about inbound marketing as just writing blogs or something, just creating content just in your website. Yeah, of course. creating content is extremely important, but then creating quality content which serves the purpose of your consumers, especially tailor-made for them, is something that is the most important technique that you've got to master. So you've got to actually understand what exactly are the type of questions people are asking. So for example, let's say how exactly you might understand. So try to go to Google, search about the topic. You might actually find a lot of questions in the people also ask section, right? So people actually ask such questions in Google itself, where they understand what kind of questions that actually relate to your topic. So now if I want to go for, let's say, Web 3.0 on, let's say, cryptocurrency, you said that it's used for education platforms. So what exactly, how exactly is this going to help me on a broad match, right? So not just exactly about education, but also around that topic. So this will actually help you create a lot of content and a lot of personalized content, I might say, for the users. So actually this is something that users can actually relate and they would actually be interested. So now, because the thing is that nowadays Google focuses on more user generated content as compared to a typical generic content. So even if you want to rank, in the end, that's the main goal. We want to rank on Google. So if at all you want to rank on Google also, this is one of the techniques that you've got to follow, right? So other than that, one of the things, like I mentioned previously, was actually promoting this particular content on email. Let's say you first brainstorm your overall ideas, right? You brainstorm the overall thought process. So now the thought process is done. You create a framework of the content. Now the entire content is made. Now once the content is made, you actually start placing few of the FAQs on the content itself from the people also ask or other search platforms, right? So now once that is done, then after that, your work is not just done from there. You also try to market it, right? So people, the main thing the main problem I've noticed in the clients is that they just stop with the content. They don't try to market it. Trying to market this across various, platforms is actually going to be really beneficial. So like I mentioned, email marketing was something that really worked for us. Maybe something else, let's say, promoting this on some other website, actually, for getting a basic link juice, even that might actually be helpful. So you've always got to think about what exactly you want to, what you want your outcome as. You've got to design your overall portfolio for the inbound marketing so that you can actually deliver more content. And more content, basically you want to get, more leads, basically.
Yeah, and also the section is about community building, and then I think personalization is really a key aspect, because remember, in the world of Web 3.0, everyone can be anonymous, and everything, your privacy is protected, meaning that like when you create a user or content journey for your audience, it can be as niche as possible, because people don't be afraid of doing something niche stuff or strange stuff even. So like it's also helping marketer to segment your audience in a much broader way, that you can sort of find out the niche bit of your audience segment and create a special experience for them. And there are some other examples that I have seen in the region that might be relevant to you here in the Middle East or maybe other part of the world. So Asia, in Hong Kong, we had the first digital arts fair at the regional level 2 years ago. And basically, it actually changed how digital art is sort of commercialized in Hong Kong or in Asia Pacific. So even for auction house like Christie, they have their metaverse land to sell NFTs. And also the good thing is in auction house, for example, in gallery, for example, usually people only sell art pieces. They are original. They are only one copy. But then with NFT, with Web 3.0, you can have the reprints and you can certify it, you can validate it, and it's just help galleries or art provider to scale up the level, volume of their transaction, and they constantly get paid, because when you sell one painting and that painting got resell to the another collector, for example, it might take a few years, but with blockchain technology, with NFT, that you can sell 10 the same painting validated by the technology, and then you can resell it almost every minute, one click. So this is changing arts and culture business. And also like in our region, we also see like a lifestyle brand, they're leveraging NFT, sort of attract the customer. So some people might find, kind of weird that like, why a fashion company is selling something virtual? But then actually, by selling that kind of NFT virtual fashion product, for example, your audience then create how they want their product really look like that fit in their personality. And when you study all the creation, all the NFT like purchased by your customer, you also that helps also help you to improve your product development as well. And one last but not least is that like the gaming component for technology platform, because like like social media, we are constantly making a lot of content, but then like the interaction, we are just flat up somehow, we are overloaded with different content. But with gaming, then everything is more about experience, less wordy, more focused on the community thing. For example, if there is an online game and then like Pokemon, it's also like a similar metaphor like Web3 is that like you are doing something together and interact on the basis of the gaming content that also help to build a community. So what should marketers know about Web 3.0 in their community tactics, in your opinion?
So one basic thing that actually I feel brands must focus is upon to educate the consumers. So what we actually know is that brands, as soon as we talk about strategy, so whenever clients approach us, right? So one thing there always is like, in the end we want conversions, in the end we want this, in the end we want that. But the major focus actually to drive such things is to make sure that actually your consumers are educated, because what happens is that people are pretty wary about the technology. About such technologies, and then they want the brands to actually just work for them. And brands, in the end, they just want people to buy. That's it. So it's more of just give and take. But then what they don't understand is that it's more about discussing. It's more about educating your consumers and them making a decision, and you helping them out to make a decision is actually going to build a better community and a relationship for both of you. Right? That's something that I feel is really important. And the other thing which I actually have noticed is that after the purchase of such, let's say of such currencies, when it comes to brands, a lot of times what happens is that when it comes to customer support, they really lack. So what happens is that they are, they drive the sales, people purchase the currencies, done. When it comes to the customer support, people lack. There are customers waiting over the calls. On email chains, there are multiple email chains being passed to and fro, but without any answers. So that also actually affects the overall reputation of the brand, right? So just like this is, I think, one of the pointers that Brian actually mentioned previously. So this is something that's really important that you need to focus upon for building a community for your particular brand. Right? So once you start building such, for example, people are actually afraid of the product feedbacks that they get, right? So once you build such, community, you need to make sure that you go across such brands. And of course, previously it was answer the question was, there's no particular number. It could be 65, it could be 70, it could be 50, 40, whatever is your overall, pain point that you have to understand. But then there are going to be pain points. And such pain points are actually necessary for your brand to grow along with your consumers so that you can develop a long-lasting relationship.
So I remember you also told me that like you worked for a crypto brand in 2022.
Yeah.
And how was the experience? How did you leverage crypto in your marketing campaign?
Well, so in 2022, what we particularly did was, there was there was a brand who actually, did sell crypto, right? So like I mentioned before, so the main focus was to, of course, build sales. But then at the same time, they were also, because of the tough competition, the competition was so immense across the brands that it seemed almost impossible for us to actually rank on the, first page of Google, right? So the number of the strategies, of course, it took us a long time, but then there we tried to actually improve so as we started, building the overall brand with the communities, right? So we saw that Google started to push our website through the search, through the search engine. And I think within a span of just 3 months, we started ranking the first page. Of course, it was low, but then we did start ranking the first page from almost third or fourth page. So that's when we actually understood the importance of, of course, the SEO tactics or all the technical SEO activities that you do and so on is equally important, yes, but at the same time also building a relationship with your consumers and, the testimonials, actually, the reviews that they give is equally important as well.
So speaking of crypto, actually a lot of clients of ours are quite skeptical because of the crypto crash, I think in 2022. But then my observation is that we should also focus on not just the monetary value of crypto, but also other aspect of blockchain technology, because one crypto crash, it doesn't mean the other currency crash, also doesn't mean the technology will crash. So my recommendation to the client is always to sort of have 10 to 20% of their marketing budget on innovation, to test it out and see how the campaigns goes. Because a lot of new technology or a lot of new invention, when they come to the market in the first place, there is speculation. But then as marketers, as clients, we should see the fundamental values of the tools itself and pick the best platform for them. So I think we are finishing up the conversation on stage. Is there any question from the floor?
Please.
Thank you so much, Adithya and Brian. The question is for Adithya. Is there a new innovative approach to improve the Web3 community?
Sorry, is there any innovative
approach to build a Web3 community?
Okay. So, well, one thing that actually we tried to, I think I already mentioned this in the speech before, right? So one thing that we actually tried is to make sure that you integrate your overall Web 3.0 strategies along with not just with your website, but also through other platforms as well. So email marketing was something that we tried and it really helped us actually. There are various tools of email marketing like Klaviyo or other aspects, right? So you can also actually try a lot of CRM tools, So a lot of CRM tools actually really help you to boost your overall, Web 3.0 strategies to actually reach out to majority of the platforms and across the users. So that is something you can try across as well.
Yeah, for us actually, the client the kind of Web3 campaign we did most is actually we integrate all level from Web 1.1, 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0 all together. Because when we did a charity campaign to raise funds to support non-profit by selling NFT. So basically we commission underprivileged artists to create NFT, and we ask people to buy the NFT, and the money used to support that group of underprivileged artists. So I think the innovative approach is how to incorporate Web 3.0 into other aspects of your marketing campaign and make it integrated. Yeah. Is there any other questions? Okay, so we will be around, so thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for the session.